Show me something.
Hello and welcome back to the Show Me Something podcast. I'm Jacob.
I'm Will.
And I'm Trevor.
And today I showed the boys Defiance, the 2008 Edward Zwick movie about the Bielski brothers and them surviving during the Holocaust in Belarusia. And that's pretty much the little bit of it. Yeah, what were you going to say, Trevor?
A very Jacob pick. You are very much
so?
a World War II buff kind of guy.
I just like history in general.
You do, but I feel like you really enjoy World War II history from just, talking over the years and stuff. And this seemed like a very you pick.
Yeah, I mean, the stories are usually very compelling from that period of time.
Oh, absolutely.
But, Edward Zwick, known for Blood Diamond and The Last Samurai, or what I know him for.
Glory, motherfucker. Glory is his number one.
I saw that, yeah. I was going to mention it because of the Denzel Washington movie, but I haven't seen it, so.
What?
I haven't seen Glory.
We watched Glory in social studies in middle school.
Really?
Yeah, that was my school district's one way of acknowledging Black people in American history outside of slavery. So that was
hey, good for them. They were trying, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. That's a good movie from what I remember.
So I'm looking at his filmography, and I don't think I've seen any of these movies.
He has an absolutely insane filmography.
It's all over the place.
That's what I mean. Yeah, I don't mean insane like good. I mean it is
a lot of different
fucking
stories.
Scattershot.
I mean, Love and Other Drugs is another one. I haven't seen it, but he directed that one too. A romantic comedy.
Fucking, have you seen The Last Samurai?
Yeah, it's classic, dude.
I saw that movie in theaters with my dad at
That's a dad movie.
Sawmill Cinema up in Hawthorne, New York, which I think has since been demolished. But that was
rip.
Had a lot of great showings. I saw Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon there. Anyway,
nice.
That movie, I really want to watch it again because what a fucking absurd whitewashing, white savior fucking narrative that Tom Cruise is the last samurai.
Well, isn't
Ken
the
Watanabe
story, like...
Ken Watanabe in that movie is fucking outstanding.
Isn't it supposed to be him coming over as like a really renowned soldier in the U.S. coming over to retrain the troops, the Imperial troops? And
I don't remember at all. But just the fact that it's called The Last Samurai, and he's the cover in fucking samurai gear, like.
Yeah, no,
the
I feel
early
you.
2000s were a wild time. Man.
They didn't give a fuck.
Wild, man.
It was long-haired Tom Cruise too. Long-haired Cruise.
Long-haired Cruise. I remember it. I remember loving it, but I was also 12. So
yeah, I remember liking it a lot too, but I was also very young when I watched it, and I was like, "This movie's kind of dope, dude."
Yeah,
He's got a freaking sword.
There was some cannon. There were cannons.
Yeah, there were. The last scene is crazy from what I remember.
He definitely
the
had
battle
some
at
good
the end.
Cannons and katanas.
Yeah, there's a battle at the end with like a Gatling gun, and it's insane.
That's what it is. Not a cannon,
it's
a
sad.
Gatling
it's
gun.
It's fucked up.
Yeah. Shout out to Tom Cruise though, the White Samurai.
Seen that clip. The White Samurai.
Blood Diamond.
So what did you guys think of the movie?
Okay.
Sorry.
What did you guys think of Defiance?
Dude. It's crazy.
Will, you go first.
Yeah, I dug it. I don't think it was outstanding. It's a solid war movie. It was a little long. I know that's kind of been my catchphrase these last few episodes, but I don't know if I'm just like becoming grumpy because of quarantine and I have had no human contact outside my girlfriend in 2 months, or if I'm just that much of a curmudgeon, but this shit felt long. Like at a certain point I like paused to go to the bathroom and I came back and sat down. I was like, holy fuck, there's 45 minutes left. And I
mean, it's a little bit long, but it's not too long. It's like 2 hours and 20 minutes, I think. So it's a little bit longer of a movie.
It's a bit hefty, but I mean, I'm sure I'll show movies that are that long, and I won't say anything about their length, as I typically do. So,
classic Will.
Showing boobs for no reason. I show boobs. It's
I know.
like,
I just re-listened to those 2 episodes back to back too, and I was like, "Fuck."
I'm learning a lot about myself.
Insane.
I'm learning a lot about myself during this podcast, so that's good. You know, it's always time for self-reflection, I guess. Yeah, it's long. I cannot get over any of the 3 leads being Polish Jews in World War II. I could not separate.
Belarusian.
Yeah, sorry, Belarusian Jews. I could not separate the actor from the character.
Oh, really?
They're Polish actors.
I see that with Daniel Craig for sure.
Yeah.
Daniel Craig, I think, is the only one I had some trouble with.
But that's because he's A-list. So
Jamie Bell, I could not take seriously. Isn't that motherfucker in Jumper? Who's in Jumper?
Yeah, he is. I was going to bring
that
up.
Notice?
He is in Jumper.
Though,
he's
that George McKay is in this from 1917. He
plays
the youngest brother.
That's one of my notes.
I was like, he looks so fucking familiar, and then I looked it up, and I was like, oh,
me too.
Fuck.
Me too. Yeah.
He was phenomenal in 1917.
Fucking shout out 1917. Wonderful movie.
Big shout out. Loved that movie. Another World War II.
Third best of the year, 2019.
Oh no, that's World War One. Sorry.
Yeah, World War One. All I've said so far is negative things, but I think it's a very solid war film. It's not top tier by any means. I think it's a good watch if you're in the mood for a World War II movie that you probably haven't seen, and also one that has a unique take on the war. You know, it's not your typical, heroic Americans versus the Nazis, or British people helping Americans.
It's definitely not.
Nazis.
There's no American troops in it at all.
Which is welcome.
Not a single one.
I'm here for that. I would say like a 6.5. 6.5 feels good. A little long, predictable. A lot of the character beats felt like I saw them coming, but that's also very typical of war film in general. Like, I don't think that you don't usually go to war movies to see characters. You're there for, plot, but mostly for the action. So the cinematography was beautiful. There were a lot of really beautiful shots. The cast, the supporting cast was cool. Nice to see Mia Wasikowska. I'm probably butchering her name, but she played Jamie Bell's love interest.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she did a good job.
Yeah, 6.5. It was solid. Not great, but solid, yeah.
What you think, Trev?
I liked it a lot. I had a good time with this.
Boy.
There was, at one point, I will kind of agree with Will.
How dare you?
I want to say maybe halfway, I scrolled over to look at how much time was left, and I was like, wow, there's a lot of time left. But then immediately after that, I was like, nah, I stopped noticing. So like there was like one slow moment where I looked to see how much time was left. But after that, I was like, yeah, okay, cool. We got stuff happening. Daniel Craig was a little bit hard to look past sometimes. Like
his accent broke a bunch.
A little bit, yeah. I really enjoy his love interest, Alexa Davlos. Is that her name? Yeah.
I don't know. I just have her character's name down, Lilka.
But well, I mean, I recognize her because I was a pretty decent fan of Man in the High Castle, which she's one of the stars for that show.
Oh, okay.
Which is again, it's pretty good. It's like alternate history World War II, like if the Nazis won, and she's Jewish on
I've heard decent things about that show.
Like looking at her thing, I'm like, I wonder why she has these Jewish parts. And it's because, like, I mean, her family is Jewish, so I mean, it kind of makes sense that she's being cast in these roles. And so that was cool. I liked her in it. I thought she was good. As soon as she came on screen, I was like, she's Daniel Craig's love interest. Like the moment she came on screen, I was like, yep, that's her whole role in this kind of. I enjoyed the whole plot. I really liked Jamie. What's his name again? Jamie Bell.
Aziel, I think his name is.
Aziel.
I don't know how to pronounce it. Yeah.
It might have been Azil.
Azil.
I know it's an S-A, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm sure
They
we'll
were
butcher
great.
the names.
yeah, Zeus.
To be
Zeus
fair,
is
all the names are said with like thick accents throughout the movie, so it's hard to know how to truly pronounce it without sounding fucked up.
for sure. And Zeus, Levi Streitenberg or whatever. I love him. I think he's a great actor.
Yeah.
I enjoyed his, like, the whole movie. I had a good time with the action. The story was super interesting.
Yeah.
Them like surviving in the woods, and like it didn't go exactly where I thought it was gonna go. I was expecting it to go a different direction because I don't actually know this story from World War II. So I was expecting it to go in a different direction, and then when it didn't, I was pleasantly surprised. Like,
Nice.
I would have been happy with the direction I was expecting, which was more of a freedom fighters kind of, like, they're like going into the towns and killing Germans
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
kind of thing.
Yeah,
And
they
do
kind
that
of only do that in the beginning, and then they're like that doesn't fucking work.
Yeah, which I appreciate the different take on it.
Yeah. That's
But
interesting,
I
though.
think-
You thought it wasn't predictable, and Will thought it was predictable.
That was the only part that wasn't predictable, to be fair.
Yeah.
There was one other moment that surprised me that we'll talk about when we get to it. But otherwise, like, I see where Will's coming from with the predictability. Like I said, when, what's her name? Alexa, Lilka comes on
Yeah.
screen, like, immediately, I'm like, that's Tovia's love interest. Like, immediately.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I mean, they set up them looking at each other. I feel like you
Yeah,
do that with
All
every
the love interests were, yeah. All the
What-
love interests were called pretty much immediately.
I don't
some
think
of
they're
the
supposed
plot-
to be surprises, though.
Some of the conflicts were pretty, like, I don't know. It's just there was little bits where I was like, you were able to call stuff kind of fast, but then the rest of it, like the actual main plot of the movie, I didn't call from the get-go because I was
Yeah.
expecting them to, like I said, kill more Germans
I
and
think
be like a strike force resistance kind of thing, and they were like just surviving, which was really cool and interesting.
Yeah, they were mostly nonpartisan.
Yeah, I think the character beats generally were more predictable than the plot itself. I probably should have made that more clear. I think the plot, you've never seen a story like this, and obviously it's a true story, so that's cool too. But the character beats, like, I immediately knew that Daniel Craig and Liev Schreiber were going to have conflict, like the minute they were introduced, and whether that's intentional
Yeah,
or not.
you can
like,
see that with
For sure.
with the older brother type dynamic.
The older and the second oldest, which,
Yeah.
and to be fair, the second oldest has been acting as the oldest for a while, it seems like.
Yeah, because
They talk
Tuvia
about
was
how
gone. Tuvia
Yeah,
was in a
Tuvia's
different
been
city
gone
or
for a
town
while.
or whatever.
With the wife, I guess he didn't really care that much about. That
I'm not
whole plot
100%
point.
sure why he left. He kind of just shows up, and they're like, "About time you showed up," or whatever. Maybe he had like heard that the Germans were moving into the town. It's unclear. I'm sure in real life there was a reason why he went back to the town. I didn't look into it enough though to really say.
Me either. But overall, I did enjoy it. I really did have a good time with this. I would probably watch this movie again.
Nice, yeah. I mean, I've seen it a bunch of times. I love this movie. I own it. So
I'm gonna give it. Let me think. I think I'm gonna give this like an 8.5 out of 10.
fuck yeah.
Damn.
I really enjoyed it. I had a good time with it, man.
Fuck yeah, dude.
I don't know. I feel like I like
it's
stuff.
a fun movie. It's a good movie.
I just
Here
You give me
I
some
go
good-
It's an
again
entertaining
on my
movie.
own. The
like there's some really good moments in
loneliest
here.
soul ever known.
I feel like there's just
Will.
some moments in here that really sell it for me, like overall, like, and I'll talk about them when we get to them. But there's some moments that just
They're sad.
me
A
go-
lot of the things are
there's
sad.
some sad moments, but there's also some moments where I'm like, thank you, God, yes, amazing. So
Yeah. Is that your finishing up of your short little thing?
that's me. That's me in my non-spoiler zone.
So yeah, for me, I love this movie. I've watched this movie a bunch of times, so many times. I own it on DVD, pre-Blu-ray action right over here. Yeah, it was just always a movie. I feel like that. I'm like always in the mood for this movie somehow. I just really love I think that the story is so interesting of them making like a society in the woods and trying to band together against all odds. It's just like a really interesting story for me, and I think that the lead roles did such a great job, in my opinion, of portraying the dynamic of brothers trying to live in the woods after such tragedy has struck them, and some of the emotional moments where like the brothers are like really awful things happen, like if they find out that loved ones died, like when Zeus finds out that his wife and kid is dead and goes absolutely berserk and starts smashing his head into a tree because he just fucking is in pure emotion and anger and sadness, and he doesn't know what to do with himself. He'd rather just be dead, basically. It's
so good.
A really good story. I just think it's a great story.
That was a great moment. And I love that.
Yeah, I just really love this movie. I give it a 9 out of 10 easily. I don't really have any moments in it where like I'm like, man, this is I don't have any moments in it where I'm like, man, this is like too long, or this was like lame or predictable or anything. I'm just like, I'm there for the ride. I'm like, man, that was a fucking good movie. Like I'm just not a snob about this movie at all. I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying like I'm not like, whenever I watch this movie, I'm not in a mindset of like trying to like pick at things at all. I'm just like, it's a fucking good movie.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm curious if the nature of this podcast is making me seem snobbier than I am because I'm sitting down and taking notes about a film, whereas normally I would just watch one, and I'm not sure if that mindset is negatively impacting my understanding of these movies and TV shows that we watch, but I kind of feel like it might be, because generally I'm like not this harsh of a critic, I don't think. And like it does bring me back a lot to college, where I would have to write 10-page papers about film and I have to really pick them apart piece by piece. And there was a part of me, and I've talked about this with Jacob before, like I lost a bit of the love for film after college because I had to be so I had to look at every movie I watched with so much scrutiny during that couple year period, where I like gravitated towards TV for a few years, and like these last 2 to 3 months obviously I've been aided by quarantine, but I've watched like 20 or 30 movies during this time,
that's awesome.
It's been a long time
That's
since I've been on a streak like that, so
it's a big streak.
It is a big streak, and I wonder if the movies I'm watching on my own are less harshly thought about than the movies that we watch, because I know I have to talk about them afterwards. So I don't know. Yeah. I'm now like super conscious of me coming off like a fucking asshole.
Maybe we need to start.
Which is why I'm showing the movie that I'm showing next week. I almost detoured off of it, but I'm gonna save my detour for my following episode, and we're gonna stay strong to my childhood Disney film for next episode.
We might have to start watching these without taking notes, and then write down what we remember right afterwards. Like, no longer can we take notes during the watch. We just have to watch and enjoy.
Yeah.
Try and not be critical.
I mean, we could try that for a run.
To be fair,
we might have to do that.
My notes,
because I understand totally
but
what
Will
you're saying.
doesn't really take a whole lot of notes.
Yeah, I don't. That's
true.
Thing. The notes I take are usually like I pretty much only write down points that I want to talk about or bring up. I don't really write down story beats at all. I just write down like, oh, I like this, or I don't like this, or like references to other stuff. But I think, regardless of I don't necessarily think it, for me, it's not necessarily the actual the act of taking notes. It's just the mindset of, I have to talk about this for an hour.
Critically.
And I have to, give it a rating, and I have to,
there's a lot to think about.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I don't want you to feel bad for your rating, though. I mean, your
rating
is
don't
a
feel
rating.
bad about your rating.
I'm sure most people don't think this movie is fantastic and like great like I do.
No, I know. I also just want people to like me. So like I'm
getting a Edward Zwick movie.
I'm getting a lot of like super self-conscious backlash from my own self.
No,
which is ridiculous.
Don't worry about it, man.
No, I know it's ridiculous, but I still feel like I need to say it because I I promise I'm a fun
Yeah,
guy.
someone,
don't worry about it, but
Someone
also-
out there, can you please make a fan art of the two of me and Trevor as normal people, and then Will as Scrooge McDuck, but Will.
Fuck yeah, yo, I love DuckTales. Get me in there.
Actually, no,
please.
no. Trevor needs to be an anime style.
What's that face called, Trevor? You have to have that face that you told
No,
us about.
I don't want
The
that face.
Ahegao thing or whatever.
I'm
it
not
is,
having
right?
the Ahegao face,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, make him do that too.
Please
Trevor,
no.
the
I would be
Ahegao
happier
face.
with the sideways peace sign over my eye thing.
No,
that would be
that's
less...
way too tame.
Can I just be shrugging and say I liked it?
I liked it. 7 out of 10.
I feel like that's me though, for the most part. It's like I'm just like I liked it. It was fine.
No, that's not true because you've had a low rating for Mad Villainy, and I have not had a low rating for anything yet. I'm pretty sure.
Dave.
That's true.
Was Dave your lowest?
We'll get there.
Probably, but I still feel like I probably gave it like a 6 or something. I guess that's a little bit low.
All right, real
I
quick.
think and it's crazy because I like stuff the most. I feel like, well, not the most, but I also take the most notes probably.
You take a shitload of notes.
Yeah,
I take a
don't-
lot of notes.
But do we want to enter the spoiler zone?
Yeah, just before we do, I just want to shout out
Yeah.
another Edward Zwick movie, The Siege. That's a good hostage movie.
Haven't seen it.
He's got a really interesting filmography, man. I want to go back.
It's
and
very
watch
interesting. You
some
can't,
of his
yeah, you
older
can't
stuff.
really like put a pin in it anywhere. It's like, oh, it's all very different
It's so all over the
from
place.
looking at it.
All right, yeah, cool. So let's spoiler it.
Yeah,
up.
spoilerino zone. 21 minutes in, so we're gonna need to make this quick, boys.
All right, well, I'll kick it off. So we start off with some some historical footage, and it turns
Yeah.
out that it's
So-
not historical footage. Didn't like that.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Didn't
There was
like
some.
that.
I feel like some of it at the very beginning was.
Well, the Hitler stuff, obviously.
Just like. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, obviously, but like there was, but
They
then
did
yeah,
a
the
mix to blend it.
the moment it transitioned into modern footage that had been like edited to
Grainy-
look like the old stuff,
grained out. Yeah.
I was like, I'm not like I got a little suspicious of it.
yeah.
I was like, that looks too clean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like even through the filters and the downgrading and the snow and everything, I was just like, it looks too clean. And then they like took the
Boop.
filter off slowly,
Yeah.
and I was like, all right, yeah, it was too clean.
Yeah. That was a bit fucky for me too.
Yeah. It cuts to like one of the Nazi soldiers like filming the atrocities that are happening.
Yeah. That shit was awful, dude.
in they're in the village that they're from. You can see the what is it? Zeus and Azil. Is that how we want to pronounce his name? I'm not sure how to pronounce the middle
I was just
brother's
gonna
name.
call him Jamie Bell the whole time.
Yeah, Jamie Bell's character, and Liev Schreiber's character, they're like hiding in the woods, and they're like, oh fuck, we need to go check on our parents because this shit's fucking crazy, basically.
Yeah.
Pretty much,
Like
yeah.
the
So they go
Nazis are in
home.
full force in our town.
Yeah, they got a bunch of people in the back of a like pickup truck, essentially, like an old farm truck,
Yep.
and they
They call
go
back
home.
to that character later too.
They do, which is why I
Yeah,
mentioned.
fuck that guy.
I mean, yeah, but also like if he didn't do it, they probably
Don't
would've shot
sympathize
him.
with that guy. Fuck that cunt.
I'm not sympathizing.
Fuck.
I
said the
agree
C
that
word.
he deserved to be punished. I don't think he deserved to be killed. I think they should have kneecapped him and then left him.
kneecapped him like it's a fucking gangster movie.
Are you watching too much
like a
Nazi
19
sympathizing anime, Trevor?
That's
No.
true. Yeah, call back to Black Lagoon when
sorry, of
Trevor
course
was
you're
fully
not.
sympathizing
That's-
with Rock.
Also, they were not even sympathizing with the Nazis in Black Lagoon. They were
Rock
straight
was
up murdering
sympathizing.
them.
We talked
Rock was
about this.
sympathizing.
They don't sympathize. They have a weird.
No, but we're not gonna we
Obsession
can't do this
with
to
it.
Trevor. We can't
Rock,
actually.
Rock was like, bro, Nazis
do
are
this.
low key dope. Come on.
Trevor
He
is
was.
not a sympathizer. We need to make that
No, of
clear.
course
I am
not.
not.
That
I
was a
very
terrible
much am
joke.
not. I.
It's not okay for me to make that joke in 2020. I'm sorry. It was fully joking.
But yeah,
But
so
regardless, they. Anyways,
yeah,
moving
they
on.
head back to their parents' house.
Yeah, and they find the youngest
Everyone's
brother. Yeah, mom and dad and the dog are dead.
That's fucked.
Oh, I
Sad
missed
about
the
the dog.
dog.
Why did they shoot
I
the
missed the
dog?
dog. That's
You know, that's one of my notes is not the dog with an exclamation point. Like, oh yeah, I guess the people are dead too, but not the
That's
dog.
But they head into the house, and they remember to look under the floorboards. I guess they had a crawl space under there. And that's where they find their youngest brother, played by George McKay, like we were saying earlier. He doesn't really have a big role in this movie.
No.
He's
Isn't,
a mute,
like, almost
he's a mute
non-existent.
for, like, half of it.
He just makes
Also,
eyes
they
at a
almost-
girl the whole time, pretty much.
Yeah, they also don't seem to have him, like, actually, like, in the epilogue. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead, like, a lot. But, like, he's not mentioned in the epilogue as one of the brothers, like, any history about what happened to him, right?
Is he not?
I didn't think so.
I don't remember it. Like, I only noticed they talked about the three of them.
Yeah.
I guess that's true. I can't remember what they say he does, because they say that Tovia and Zeus end up going to America, and
Trucking company.
Azil joins the Red Army eventually and ends up dying, right?
Yeah. Which is sad, because he had the coolest relationship, I felt like.
You think so? I liked Daniel Craig's, Tuvia's relationship with Lilka.
Oh, I did too, but I still think that,
Because Lilka's dope.
I don't know, theirs was cuter.
That dog scene was
Okay.
terrifying.
Like, Azil's relationship was cuter.
You ship
You know what I
Azil?
mean? Like, it was sweet. It was like
Why?
this girl.
Wait, just because
and
he like couldn't talk to girls and stuff?
Maybe.
I feel you, dude. You were like, man, I fucking feel that.
I don't know. And then everyone was wingmanning him pretty hardcore, which was nice.
They were trying to. They were like, listen, you need
And
to
they had-
fucking nut up.
I think there's
Nut
a
up or
certain
shut up,
someone who hasn't asked a certain someone a certain question.
Yeah. Everyone else in the camp had a forest wife, and he was the only one that didn't.
Shout out to the concept of forest
Oh
wives.
my god.
Yeah,
Hold
that
on,
shit was
so
dope. That thing
Aaron,
was
the
beautiful.
youngest brother, apparently is still alive.
Oh, cool.
According to Wikipedia, at least.
That makes sense. He's pretty young in the movie, so like,
Yeah.
you know, I could see him still.
He
be
changed
alive.
his name
He'd be
to-
very old by now.
He changed his name to Aaron Bell.
Oh,
Just
weird.
like
I guess
Jamie
maybe-
Bell.
Yeah, maybe to get away from some of the like anti-Semitism that was still around or something like
Did
that.
you guys
Maybe.
look into the actual story behind this at all? Like
No,
the reception?
I haven't.
I did a very little because I was curious about why Aaron wasn't mentioned, but I didn't actually look as much as I just did, I just looked at the other brothers' Wikipedia
Yeah.
pages.
Yeah, apparently the reception to this was pretty mixed, like from a historical perspective.
Yeah.
Obviously, none of the three of us are historians, so we have no fucking idea what we're talking about. But just based on me looking at Wikipedia about the film, like the reaction in Poland was pretty negative, and like I found that interesting.
I wonder why.
They were like the Belsky brothers were looked at more as like bandits and outlaws than like saviors of a bunch of people.
But they talk about that in the movie too. Like,
Yeah,
they're seen by the Red Army as bandits, but then the Red Army is seen as heroes, even though they're doing the same exact thing, surviving and stealing from villages.
Yeah,
It's
apparently
just, it's an interesting concept.
That was the
They have a
perception of the
government
general
backing
public,
them.
Apparently, I guess I'm not really sure. I didn't look too much into it. I just saw that there was some backlash towards the director, and he made some comments back about it. And I don't know, it was interesting. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, it's a good story. I'm not surprised it was made into a movie. It's pretty fucking cool. Anyway,
Yeah.
It's a very cool story. So they find the younger brother, they gather supplies, and they take the little. What I don't even I know that's an important thing, in a Jewish household. The little wall ornament thing by the front door.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. But
I don't know what
feel
it's called, but yeah.
But they take that, and they flee to the woods. The three brothers.
Yes. They know the woods. They've been hiding in the woods their whole lives, you know. They talk about
Apparently-
it later on when the teacher joins up.
Yeah, they apparently had
a little
run-ins
bit.
with the police before and would run away into the woods.
Yeah, they had some sort of like, was it liquor that they were, illegal moonshine or something that they had? It
Might
was-
have been.
It was something that they were smuggling, And because when they confront the captain later on, he talks about it too. He's like, I always look the other way or whatever, trying to fucking not die. Fuck that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck that guy.
That Nazi bastard.
Yeah, honestly. So they flee to the woods. They spend the night in the woods.
They go to that
And then-
the nice farm guy.
Do they go there first?
Cool.
I thought we had Daniel Craig showed up.
Yeah, Daniel Craig shows up and then he goes to the farm guy.
He goes to the farm guy to get the gun and some food and supplies.
Yeah.
Because they also found some random people in the youngest brother found people in the woods.
He did. Well, he stumbled upon a mass grave, basically, and there were like people from those
Around
families, from those families discovering their dead loved ones.
That shit was tough to watch.
Which was messed up.
Yeah, that was fucked. That part is very sad.
That-
I mean, there's so many sad moments in this movie that like just bring the weight of World War II down on you.
Oh, for sure. And Daniel Craig goes to get food because there's all these people, and he's like, we need guns and food because we got people here now that we got to take care of.
Yeah,
And they're talking about like abandoning them at one point.
It seems like it was really only Zeus, like throughout the time. I mean, I don't know what happened historically, obviously, but in the movie, throughout the movie, Tovia is the one that's wanting to help the other Jewish nonpartisans, and Zeus is kind of like, I just want to survive because
Yes, but also
I'm in
whenever
it for
they
me.
like the first interaction about like whenever they're like talking about the camp, he's like, we'll sleep farther down the trail. Like, and Tovia
I feel like he only says that to appease Zeus. Though.
Zeus. That's fair.
That's how
can
I
believe
took
that.
it. He's like, fine, if you want to, we'll sleep farther down, so at least we'll hear the gunshots.
I'll believe that. Looking at like at the time, I would not have thought that, but
Yeah.
looking later
That's
on
how
in the
I took
story,
it. I don't,
if like especially on a rewatch, I could definitely see that being a thought process as opposed to it because he does care about the people.
He does.
Later on, it's just
He also cares about power. He cares about power and authority as well.
He does, but I feel like he only cares about the authority because he realizes
He kills that
if
fucking guy.
I feel like he only cares about the authority because if someone doesn't have the authority,
It's chaos.
then things are gonna go horrible. And
that guy later on though is a real son of a bitch.
he was, and
That
that's
guy's
when we
disgusting.
get to that, I want to talk about that because that moment, man, that
It
was
a
good.
crazy moment.
That was a good moment.
He's like sick as fuck. He's got I forget what he has, but yeah, we'll
The
get to that
whooping
point
cough.
later. Yeah, so the Nazis show up at the farm when the guy is hanging out with his farmer friend that's always been friends with the family. He also is hiding Jews we see in his barn. But the Nazis show up and they basically they're just like, hey, we're looking for Jews, and the farmer guy like plays it off or whatever, and then Daniel Craig ends up bringing back those the other Jewish people with him back to the not even a base yet. They just have they're just in the woods. He just brings them with him.
Their
With the
first
pistol
camp.
with 4 bullets.
Yeah, I love that farmer guy because I thought he did a really good job. Personally,
I think he was trying his best for what was going on. I mean,
like he made jokes like anti-Semitist jokes just to really sell his position.
yeah,
Like, nah, man, I would never. Like, those like, they're fat or something like that. I don't know what
he gives
even the jokes
he
were,
gives the
but-
officer the booze to get him out of
Yeah.
there. He's like, take the booze.
and the officer's like, oh, check.
I
the
felt
barn
like
for
his
more
wife
booze.
was truly anti-Semitic though.
Yeah.
That's how I took
think-
it. When she was in the
I do-
kitchen and she was like doing her thing, I felt like she was like not happy that Tovia was there.
I don't think she was anti-Semitic. I think she was more didn't want her husband getting involved in something that would get him and her and
What's the
possibly her.
difference?
There's a bit of a difference. I feel like because I don't think she hated Jewish people. I think she just wanted to be left alone.
Or she
And
also,
the fact that her husband was like,
she could have just
What's
been upset that she was referred to as bitch.
That is true.
that is true, but the fact like how she
that's
acts
not
later,
false.
how she acts later after like
Yeah.
stuff
No, I know.
happens.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah,
I think
that
she
is
still
also what I'm taking from when she's at the
Yeah.
when she's like very standoffish and cold. But also at that point, her husband is dead. Spoiler alert: they kill him. They hang him with a sign that says "Jewish lover" on it.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons that I think she's not anti-Semitic, though, is that she does still help them.
Barely, though.
Does she? She just points to where he is.
She just like points at everything.
Like,
no, she also shows
like,
them. She also shows them where their brother is in that secret compartment under the hay.
Listen, I don't know. I don't trust her. All right.
No, you're not. You don't have to trust her, but I don't think she was anti-Semitic. I think she just wanted to be left alone. She didn't want to be a part of all this crap.
Silence is complicity, my boy.
Yeah, so she's a sympathizer then.
She's a sympathizer.
I don't think she's a sympathizer. I think she hates the Nazis too. I think she's just one of those people that are like, we need to keep to ourselves, which is not anti-Semitic. I think it's just...
No.
It's not good. I'm not saying she's good. Don't get me wrong.
Keeping to myself
don't
during
think she's
the Nazis is complicit.
Yeah.
Is complicit.
Yeah.
No bueno.
Yeah, it is.
It is definitely
Fuck that.
complicit.
Fuck that lady.
I'm not saying she's not complicit. I'm just saying I don't think she hates them.
I don't think she hates Nazis
but
either.
after
She would have
that-
turned him in. She would have turned him in.
But after that,
Whack.
Daniel Craig and Zeus come up with the idea basically to kill the
Could we just call him
police
007?
chief,
Let's just call him 007.
who was the Nazi fuck. No, I'm not going to call him that. I'm going to call him Tovia because that's his name in the movie.
To be fair, Daniel Craig kind of did it on his own.
Yeah, well, he wanted the revenge. When he found out that it was truly that guy that did it.
He wanted blood on his hands.
Because the farmer guy told him. The farmer was like, listen, he was the fucking one.
He was the one that did it, and then he also talked about it with the farmer. Like, yeah, you were friends with them, right?
Yeah.
When we went and paid them a visit or whatever, and it's like, oh, you just admitted. You admitted to killing his family now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he ends up killing... Tovia ends up going and killing the police chief and his two sons. All three in Nazi uniforms, so fuck those guys.
He had 4 bullets. He spent 3. Did we? We never really found out. I thought the last bullet was going to be a significant.
Was it going to mean
thing.
something? No, it doesn't mean anything.
It means nothing, but I really thought it was going to mean
that they
something.
had 1 bullet left. Not good.
Yeah, so he goes and kills them, and the wife is like, "Please kill me too," and it's like, ugh, oof, that's rough.
Yeah.
Like I get it. Like, everything you care about in the world is dead. You might as well, like, be dead as well, or whatever.
I thought he was going to do, like, no, you're going to stay alive so you can tell people about me. You know, like that kind of thing. Like, classic, like, Robin Hood. Like, make sure they know the Belsky
Yeah, but I don't think
name,
he
that
wants
kinda
people
shit.
to know about him.
I know.
he should have
but
fucking roundhouse kicked her.
Chuck Norris style. That'd
I
be
mean,
tight.
I guess he needed that. I guess he wanted to save that last bullet for another real threat.
But there
'Cause
wasn't
I guess
one.
she wasn't presenting herself as a threat. If she picked up a knife, then there we go. But
Yeah.
I don't even remember what happens next.
What is it? Oh, the next part I have written down is that this is where we find out where Zeus's family is dead, like we were talking about earlier.
We also
And
have the forest wife thing
he
happen.
starts smashing his head. Is that before that? I didn't take all that.
Someone walks up to Tovia and Zeus and is like, "Have you met this lady? This is my forest wife." And it's like,
Yeah.
what?
He's just like, congrats.
Excuse me? What does that mean, sir? Like, yeah, and then right after that is Zeus is finding out his wife and kid is dead.
Very sad moment. Extremely sad.
Yeah, that was a bummer. The smashing his face against the
And then-
tree, that's tough. Tough break.
That
It was
that
fucked.
was
And like throughout the scene, you could see more and more blood just like every time they cut to him, just like flowing from his scalp. It's fucked.
so good. Such a good scene.
I think it's a great scene. Yeah. Will obviously didn't like that scene, but that's fine.
Fuck off. I just said I like
Just giving you a hard time.
Don't paint me even worse than I'm already painting myself, alright?
But that's the fun of this whole show.
Scrooge McDuck had his nose up in the
That's
air,
fair.
but that's cool.
He was like, not enough emphasis on the tree hits. You didn't hit it hard enough.
No,
You didn't
that
care.
That was good, dude. That was visceral. It was bloody. It was tight.
It was very visceral, but
It was nice.
This is
Revenge.
also at the point where they are coming up with ideas of like what they're gonna do, how they're gonna get food, what their next plan of action is gonna be. But first off, they decide to go on some revenge killings.
Yeah,
and they
Zeus-
start fucking shit up.
Yeah, Zeus grabs his double barrel.
Yeah, that was fun.
I think. Do they had? They had some other guys that showed up.
Yeah,
And they were the
some
ones
dudes
that
showed
said-
up, yeah.
So
From
they
the
got
other
their
Otriad.
bolt action rifle and stuff, and they go on killings and stealing guns, and all that stuff.
Yeah, basically throughout the movie, every time they get more information is when people are showing up from different towns, stumbling upon them in the forest, essentially.
Like they somehow heard about them, which I don't know how people are hearing about them. You know what I
I
mean?
think that you would probably hear about them just from like rumors from the people in the towns that they're assaulting. I would assume,
I guess.
right? Because like I mean,
But it's kind of
what I
crazy
say-
how
people
they.
would for sure be talking about it if
Make
there's like
sure you-
bandits in the woods,
Make
as
sure
they
you've
would
heard
call it.
about me, the Belskis. That's what I did to that Nazi wife.
Yeah.
We just didn't see it.
Yeah, fuck
but
that
they also
lady.
like they're finding out about them, but then I guess they do get run off from this first camp pretty quick.
Yeah. Have to
They
that
do
pretty
because
fast.
they like really go too out into the revenge killing. They clothesline a Nazi dude that is driving a
On a
motorcycle,
motorcycle.
and they shoot
Which
him.
was dope.
But then afterwards, a Jeep shows up with some like higher up dudes and a wife. They kill those guys, but then a fucking truck full of Nazis shows up with a fog light and everything, and like that is just not good.
Fog light and a mounted machine gun.
What
It's
was
like a
that,
troop
Trev?
transport kind of
45
truck.
Cal, 50 cal? What
Yeah,
kind of
can we
machine
get,
gun are we talking about? 40 cal?
Oh crap!
Here you go.
Crap.
That
Yeah,
looked.
crap
My
sheet.
guess is it's a. It looked like a mounted 50, but nah, it didn't.
Was it an MG42? Because they do pick up an MG42 later on. at
They
the
do
very
pick up
last scene.
MG42s later on.
Last scene of the movie.
Classic Call of Duty 2.
They have
gun.
MP40s throughout the movie.
Classic MP40.
Yeah.
Yeah, all these I only know.
They had
from Call of
pushes
Duty.
at one
Call of Duty
point?
World
Call
at
of
War,
Duty
shout out.
2.
All Russians had pushes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I believe those were
did
Mosin
what's his name? So did
Jamie Bell.
Azael. Jamie Bell had a push.
I'd like to take this time to give a brief shout out to our sponsor, imfdb.com. Thank you so much again for sponsoring your first podcast ever. We couldn't have done it without you, Trev.
Trevor is of course wearing all the merch.
Yeah, he's got IMFDB
They definitely had-
shutter shades. He's got an IMFDB trucker cap. He's got an IMFDB beer koozie.
That would be cool. They definitely had Mosin Nagants, which were the bolt action rifles.
Classic Call of
Which
Duty 1.
I actually almost.
What about a Car
I actually-
98? Did they have a Car 98?
No, those are German guns.
God, let me see.
Yeah, most of the guns they have are German guns, Bruce.
I'm not seeing Car 98. It's just a bunch of different Mosin Nagant, like two different Mosin Nagant novels.
Mosin
and
Nagant
are.
absolutely
know
slept
what that
in
is.
Call of Duty 1.
I almost bought a case. Call
Call of Duty
those, like
1, the
a
first
crate.
one?
Yeah, dude, shout out to fucking Pavlov. Best map
That
in
was
Call
one
of
of the
Duty.
buggier games I ever played on
insane.
PS2.
You're insane. Oh, well.
The
I
first
played-
Call of Duty was buggy as fuck.
I was playing it on PC, motherfucker. Real PC gamer right here.
Wait, so we switched.
We switched.
I was
Jacob-
a PS2 boy, and I became a PC gamer.
I was a
and you were a
PC
PC
gamer.
gamer, and you became a PlayStation only solo, which is the most insane thing I've ever heard.
Well,
in
to be fair,
2020,
it was
but that's
360
fine.
and then it was PS4. But yes, I was a PC gamer. I changed my fucking clan tag every day with the different little colors and shit. I was nice, bro. I was nice. on
Yeah,
Call of
that's
Duty 1.
dope. Yeah.
It was a good time.
So the gun on the truck was an MG42. The one at the end of the movie was actually an MG34.
I'm gonna say no and just say it was an MG42
But regardless,
because I've
like,
never heard of the other one. That one is not in Call of Duty, Trevor. So
Shout out to the
It's not,
PPSH,
but-
though. That thing absolutely shredded in Call of Duty 1.
yeah, it's actually called
just-
a push.
It's called a PPSH. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm a
PPSH
I'm a
41,
historian.
yeah.
I'm a historian.
AKA a push. Hey man, I have outside concentration in history. All right, from the University of Florida. So
he does.
Back up.
This is true. But I almost bought a whole case of Mosin Nagants at one point, like a whole crate of them.
That is
Interesting.
an insane thing
That's a
to
weird
divulge.
thing to That's a weird thing to do.
I mean, I just wanted to bring that up because it was a pretty cheap crate, and I was gonna think about like piecing them out and selling each one off to try and make a little bit of money.
Real quick.
You're a crazy guy, dude.
What do you think a cheap crate
What?
of Mosinagants costs? I want to do a real quick lightning round of Prices Right.
A cheap crate of guns.
Trevor, don't tell us. We're doing Prices Right between me and Jacob.
How big is the crate?
No, a cheap crate of Mosinagants. You don't get any other information. Just tell me. Give me a number.
I don't know what that is. Is that a gun?
Give me a number. Yeah, it's a rifle. Give me a number.
10 grand.
You know exactly what it is.
10 grand.
I'm saying $2,000. What are we talking about, Trev? Who's closer?
I don't remember. I was trying to tell you that, like,
Who's
while
closest?
you were doing this. You
pissed.
shut me up. That was years
boycotting.
ago, man.
I'm boycotting.
I'm
That
pissed.
was years ago.
Let's look it up on eBay.
Almost did
Let's
that.
look it up on eBay real quick. Type in Mosinagant, Jacob.
I mean, the price is different nowadays.
I'm also kidding. I don't actually care. It would have been a fun round though.
Yeah, we need to keep moving with the podcast, or Abby's gonna scream at us. We're 45 minutes in. We're like a fifth of the movie in.
So they have a first camp. They have to leave that camp because they get chased.
Well,
down.
Daniel Craig makes a big old speech. He's like, "We got to change this."
Yeah. There's some.
He's
good,
like, "No more
there's some good
revenge. We need
dude.
to survive."
We're gonna
Yeah,
steal-
a little bit
construction
hypocritical.
We're
begins.
gonna steal
Just,
only from the people
like-
who can afford to be stolen from.
Robin Hood style.
Yeah, definitely a little definitely a little hypocritical. I agree with Trev on that.
Yeah, because he's like, I took my revenge, but we
I
shouldn't
mean, it definitely
take revenge.
is. Yeah,
It's-
Zeus brings it up
it's
later.
pretty
He's like, "Oh, you
self-serving.
got your revenge, but we
Right.
can't fucking do it."
I mean, to be fair, Zeus got his revenge too.
Listen, Zeus is still pissed. All right, I would be pissed too.
Can I
His
just
fucking parents
say?
died.
I think we can like pretty comfortably skip the entire Zeus storyline until he comes back. I feel like it's of no consequence.
Yeah, I mean, all I really need to say about the Zeus storyline is that he joined up with the Red Army. The Red Army was also a little bit anti-Semitic. There were some undertones. A couple of the people were definitely not good. They didn't,
Even though they did have rules against being anti-Semitic.
they did, but they were rules that they didn't.
Follow that strictly.
They didn't follow up on them exactly. Yeah, they did a couple of missions. Zeus went with some people from camp that were considered, like, in quotes, like their best fighters or whatever, who volunteered to go with him. And then eventually he comes back because he sees how bad it is in the Red Army as well.
Yeah.
And that's essentially that storyline, right? That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the Red Army
it's
tells
not
him,
real
you will
deep
come
on the
with us.
storyline.
No.
I didn't like whenever they cut to it. I was like, I don't really care what's going on with them.
From the point that Zeus and Tovia get into a fist fight to the point where he comes back at the very end, I didn't give a fuck about any scene that he was in.
Yeah, I feel like it would have made it even less historically accurate than it is, but I would have preferred him to stay with the camp just to see the struggle between the brothers.
Yeah.
That
was, I
a little bit more.
I liked their struggle a lot.
Their dynamic was really good. I thought that the actors did a good job together. There
I was
like
sad.
a common respect, but also like a little bit of a hierarchy
Headbutting.
issue when they were trying to fight with each other.
I was sad to see their
For
conflict
sure, like
resolved so
constantly.
quickly.
Before Zeus
Well, it doesn't
was
get
left-
resolved. They get in a fight and then they don't resolve it until the end.
I
hate
guess
each
I
other.
mean,
They
like,
don't.
I was
Even when
sad
Daniel
to see
Craig
it.
or Tovia shows up at the Red Army camp, Zeus walks away from him immediately. Even when the commander's like, two Bilski brothers in the same camp, and Zeus doesn't want any part of it. He's like, fuck that guy.
Yeah, I guess I meant I was sad to see it like escalate and then just kind of like peak at that escalation until the very end. Like they didn't really have much interaction besides the one run they made for medicine, which I have thoughts about also once we get to it. But
In the middle, yeah. It was that is an interesting scene.
yeah, it was weird.
It's kind of crazy. Just I like every time I saw Zeus, pretty much up until he leaves, I was like, Zeus is gonna cause problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just every time he talked or he was on screen, I was like, you're gonna cause problems if you're not already causing problems.
Yeah, I mean, Liev Schreiber is
But,
also
like-
kind of typecast in that role. Like he's always kind of the good bad guy, or the bad good guy rather.
That's true.
He's always. It seems like he's also like the brother that's kind of the bad guy because he was that in Wolverine.
Yeah, he's just like he's Boromir basically.
He was
But
the
in
brother
between
that was
this,
not great.
not a whole lot really. I mean, to talk about, not a whole lot happens. There's a good amount in the movie, but like, the farmer friend was hung, like we were saying. and they get their brother back. We find out Tuvia's wife is dead, and he takes it not as hard as Zeus does, but still upset about it. I think he kind of knew that she was going to be dead.
Yeah.
And then we also find Zeus get his lover. I forget what her name is, but she was throughout the movie as like.
He seems to get over his dead wife and kid kind of quick, right?
Who does, Tovia?
No,
Zeus. Tovia, I understand getting over kind of quick because it seemed like to me the undertones of that narrative was they weren't like he didn't really like her that much. Like he married her because of her like position or something.
I mean, from how distraught he is right at the front to like being forest wifed up within 30 minutes
Zeus,
of
you
the
mean?
film. Yeah, it's like kind of.
Yeah. Zeus got over too fast. Tuvia, I'm not going to say got over too fast because A, his romance doesn't really blossom for a while.
Yeah,
and B,
it's a long gestating one.
He didn't seem to really care that much whenever he was told that his wife was dead. I also want to bring up somewhere around here we find out like we get the more refugees and there's the creepy Arcadia or whatever, the guy that tries to overthrow Tuvia later in the movie.
The bastard guy,
creepy.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's trying to steal Azil's girl all the time throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Also, this is where they leave their first camp, like you were saying, Will, where the farmer
Nazis find him.
Yeah, so there's a farmer
milkman
that they come across where they steal the milk from. Zeus steals the milk, but they don't kill him because that's like the new rule. Basically, they're not going to kill anybody; they're just going to take what they can.
Yeah.
And that
They
ends
took
up
half
being
of
a
his
bad move
stuff
because that
and-
guy is a Nazi sympathizer, 100%, and
Right.
leads the Nazis
Yeah.
directly to their camp.
Yeah, that scene was cool too.
And then they fight him off. Yeah, they fight him to like a standstill, and then are like, "All right, leave, just leave, please, and we'll be back." Like, yeah, just go, and we're gonna go our way. You guys are injured, all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
And then the Nazis actually withdraw because they shoot a bunch of them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it was a good.
then they make
exchange.
their second camp, which is the camp that they're at for most of the rest of the movie, right?
I believe so. Yeah, they don't leave that one until
I think
the
they stay
planes
at.
come.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like at the very end. So that's when they move on and they start building, like buildings and like
Yeah.
actual shelters and stuff, which was
Yeah.
kind of crazy.
They had some makeshift ones at the first camp, but yeah, it definitely got more. I don't remember where he goes, but Tuvia, like once that scene happens, they find a new place, and then he goes somewhere and comes back, and he just sees them all like working diligently and building shelters all together. Like it's like a really nice moment of community.
Yeah,
But
I think this is when they go and this is when they go to the slums or the
yeah,
ghetto.
I think so.
And get all the rest of the Jewish people out. Like they go and are talking to the old leader guy, and like they're blatantly walking through the street without like their star on, obviously.
Yeah.
But they're just like they're kind of ballsy
Yeah, I mean
when they're going through the ghetto
they
at
have
first.
clout. They have clout at that point, you know. Also,
I mean, but dude, they don't like not in the city. That's like overrun with Nazis.
Yeah.
Like if they get caught, they're dead.
yeah, that
But yeah, they go, and that's when we see, the conversation with the old man and the rabbi is like, "We're waiting for God." It's like, stop, just come on,
yeah.
please.
Also,
Like-
I don't know if either of you have watched Breaking Bad, but that guy is like a really big character in Breaking Bad, and he plays a Spanish person, so that really threw me off.
Yeah, he plays the guy in the wheelchair, right?
Yeah, with the bell. Yeah,
Yeah.
Is that the Bell wheelchair guy? The old?
Yeah, it's
oh
the
my
same guy.
gosh.
yeah, same
Yeah.
guy. I was like,
I didn't when I was
notice.
watching it. I didn't realize where I recognized him from, but you're right. Yeah, he's from Breaking Bad.
That's crazy.
Another instance of questionable casting for me in this film. I mean, he's a super minor part. Doesn't really matter, but I was like, well,
Yeah.
that dude's definitely Spanish.
Yeah, but then we have our great
Great.
scene with them taking in all the people from the ghetto, like turn over your valuables.
Yeah.
What's your skill sets?
The guy fixes the gun in
and
like
also-
5 seconds.
Yeah, the watchmaker.
Yeah.
I loved that.
I also want to say big shout to the intellectual socialist / communist guy.
Yeah, I like him
and
too.
a shout out to the teacher. I loved their dynamic. Those
I
guys
loved
were
their
great.
subplot.
They were like
They
a
had
classic staple in the camp of like being level-headed and always being able to check the Belsky brothers, basically like where their heads were at to try to keep them level. You know.
They were a great, and also because they were arguing at first, but by the end of the film, they're like the best of friends.
Great friends. They were great friends.
Such a good dynamic.
I really liked that dynamic. Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Yeah, and then like so we have the whole Taken thing. We have the guy come up and it's like, "Oh, what's your skill set?" He's like, "I'm an accountant," and they're like, "That's useful, I guess."
Yeah. But to be fair, it's just as useful as them being, in quotes, intellectual and a teacher.
Oh,
like,
well,
I mean,
teacher,
it's
I
the
kind
same
of
exact
understand.
thing. He should just join the gang. They should have said, "Join up, friend," and he takes a seat behind him.
Oh, absolutely, I agree. But it was just a funny moment.
It was
where they're
funny,
like,
yeah, because it's practically useless. Like when you
Yes.
talk about like what they need a forest.
And at least like the intellectual and the teacher were like handling organization and stuff like that.
You're saying they don't need another guy for that?
They could, I guess, they could use the accountant to
I mean,
like
the camp
figure
is
out-
getting bigger now, so they might need it.
I'm sure the accountant eventually put his skills to use for something.
He did, for sure, yeah. I mean, that's just like one of the parts of showing how like interesting the little society that they created is, you know? It's like all the
was
different
a very-
roles that everybody filled. Like that's the point in the movie where like everybody, like, because then Daniel Craig like gets up on the horse that the Soviets gave him and is like talking about how everyone's gonna have a role, everyone will work, everyone will learn how to fight.
For sure.
And that they're going to try to build basically the best society they can in their
Yeah, they have their-
circumstances.
And then they move into that awesome training and building montage.
Yeah, it was really good. The shooting and building the dope little houses. The really interesting structures that they build, like into the hillsides. It's like it's probably for the weather, like to try to keep warm, and then also to try to hide themselves, which is really interesting. Because we find out later that surveying planes are like flying over constantly.
Yeah, so you definitely want to keep yourself as like low visibility as possible. And they did pretty good on that, I think. I think the winter was probably their hardest time.
Winter was brutal for them.
Well, not only that, but also for the well, I guess the snow would keep them covered, but like leaves being off of trees and whatnot.
I don't think you'd be able to see them during the winter at all. I mean, we don't really see it ever. I mean, we can see in the movie no one ever shows up in the winter, but like the winter to live was brutal for them. They were consistently out of food. They needed medicine, which they come up with that later. It's like a really, like that is a really tough time for them.
For sure. But right after the montage, before we get into the winter thing, I can't ignore this.
Yeah.
I know I brought up winter, but I can't ignore the wedding.
It was nice.
The wedding with the it had a juxtaposition, I guess would be the term.
That was great. I loved that.
Of the wedding with and then
juxtaposition with the
Zeus
fighting.
Zeus ambushing and like fighting and killing, and then the wedding where
like really brutally. By the way,
yeah, super
like,
brutal.
Zeus is like seen in the Red Army. Like I don't think they give him the recognition he needs because of his brother Tovia, but he like is brutal as fuck, and he is a Nazi killer.
He is a Nazi killer. To be fair, at one point when he chucks that grenade underneath the truck,
yeah,
like he pulls the pin and is right up against his legs would have been blown off. 100%.
That is actually one of my questions with this movie. I don't think the grenade use made any sense in this movie.
It didn't.
Why was everybody running with the grenades? You fucking toss that bitch after you.
That's
after
the whole
you
reason
pulled
for the stick.
It's more
That's the
cinematic.
reason
so
the
you
Germans
can
had
throw
the
it
sticks.
easier.
It's more cinematic.
Whoosh, just whip that.
To run with it.
Like it just doesn't make any sense. It really my main issue with this was at the end with the intellectual. It doesn't make any sense. Why
that
he would
one
do that.
annoyed the shit out of me. Like that was useless.
He just killed himself.
You literally killed yourself for no reason. Like,
Rip.
whatever.
I do like at the end the shell shocked ness of Tuvia. That is Like, he really cannot collect himself after being shell-shocked so hard.
Yeah, well, when we get to that, I have something to say about that as well.
Okay, Trevor's pissed. Trevor hated it.
Teaser.
I didn't hate it. But, yeah, so the winter comes, and it sucks. They're running out of food. People are dying.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with, like, when they start running out of food, they kill the horse and eat it. Like,
oh, for sure. Yeah, he killed that horse.
100%. That's not even a question.
But that also threw the people into a frenzy.
Yeah, that shit was crazy.
Which was like, come on. Get some more, like, come on.
Why are they not hunting, though? I feel like they didn't hunt a whole lot.
Speaking
they
of...
didn't hunt very much, you're right.
When Tovia's girl
show it,
went out on the food gathering mission, that scene with the fucking dog, the wild dog...
So good.
That shit was
So was that a wild dog?
harrowing.
I thought that was like a German guard dog, like patrol dog, and that she was going to get found out.
I took it as a wild dog.
I took it as a wild dog.
I
That
took it
dog
as a
just
wild
wanted
dog.
food. He barely even wanted her. He just wanted food.
Yeah,
you know,
he
like,
just wanted food.
He didn't attack her until she actually made like a motion for the food.
Yeah.
True.
Because he was just like
That's
protective
what
of it,
confused me, though.
You know, that scene was scary as fuck.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, she tried to get her
That
face
scene
ripped
was
off.
scary.
That
Thank
was
God
crazy.
she had
I
the
thought-
pistol from Tovia.
Yeah, honestly,
that-
I thought she was going to die, and also the moment the wedding happened, I thought that what's his name again? Jamie's character.
Yeah,
I thought she had like a death flag, essentially, like, oh, she's gonna die now.
yeah.
Like the moment happiness happens, some's gonna die.
No, she was good.
What?
She was like a.
She was fine.
She
They
was
both
a
were
fighter
fine.
throughout it. The part that was super sad at the end was her. They like had to take her away from him because he had to stay on the front line and fight and hold.
But
off
he was
the
fine
Nazis.
afterwards, so whatever.
Yeah, I know, but it was still super sad to like.
It was
watch
sad
her,
as
like,
shit.
be like fucking distraught. She's like, this guy's gonna die. I don't want to leave. I want to fight.
I don't want my husband to die. That would.
It was sad. That shit made me tear up. That shit was sad.
But yeah, so that was a great moment, and like that's a lot of meat, dog meat. Like that would suck to eat, but in a situation like that, like that's a good chunk
I think
of
it's
food
just
right
meat.
there.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's just meat. You know, I wouldn't eat it now, obviously, but like, you know, when you're distraught, you got to eat meat.
I mean, if you're hiding out in the woods from Nazis for like years on
Years
end, yeah,
upon years.
I'll eat whatever.
Dude, when,
Like,
when
come
the
on.
epilogue hit and then they said they lived there for 2 more years, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's a crazy part of it. Is like,
That
how
is
much
crazy.
more of the story did we not see? Like, what else happened?
I don't know.
I mean, I guess by that point, maybe
It's
the
probably
Nazis were
more
losing.
of the same, essentially.
Yeah.
I assume, except instead of Nazis showing up, probably more Red Army showed up than anything else.
Possibly that, and also like maybe the Nazis just didn't have the resources to divert to find
Yeah.
them.
Well, I assumed they were going more and more east, so I would assume that more Russians would show up.
Yeah.
You know, than Nazis because of the Eastern Front collapsing.
Yeah. So we get, I guess. Oh yeah. So people are getting sick. They go and try and take the medicine from the police station.
Yeah, typhus
As
is
what-
the disease that is hitting, by the
Yes.
way. That I just saw my note, sorry.
It wasn't whooping
Yeah,
cough?
I never had a note on that, so I'm glad you. Huh?
Nothing. I just don't listen to me. Keep going.
Okay. Zeus gets shot during the assault because he makes Tuva stay in the car because he's coughing and dying, more or less.
Yeah, he is getting fucked up by it. He's really getting destroyed by it. He would have died without the medicine for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about that scene.
I was
Actually,
gonna
that
say, did I
scene
miss that?
is shot very weird.
Dude,
it's shot.
It's very odd.
I hated it.
So
Why?
framey. I don't 100% know why. Actually, me and Abby were talking about this today. Her thought process was behind it was that it was because it was what Daniel Craig or Tuvia's character was picturing, but like at
That's
the
what
same
I
time, it was
thought,
100%
too.
accurate to what was happening. So it's really hard to say because he's not the point of view character. Like, there's not a solid point of view character. So like, why are we seeing it through this lens? You know, it's
I 100% agree with
so
Abby
fucky.
thinking that it's Tuvia's imagination.
yeah. I don't like the way it's shot. I think it shouldn't have been done that way. I think it should have just been normal.
I think it would have been fine if they had made it at the end of the whole thing, everyone gets out fine. Like we have the scene where
Yeah,
all the
I see what
fighters
you're
are
saying.
getting
Yeah.
shot and killed, and then they knock on the window and Tuvia jumps out of his like mind and it's like, let's go. And like, oh, everyone's fine. It was really easy actually.
Yeah, or like most people or whatever. But like, I don't know. It threw me a little bit. I think that scene takes me out of it a little bit. Like when when it happens, I'm like, it's weird. You don't see stuff shot like that a lot where it's framey. It's like, is my connection fucked?
I hated it. I hated it. I just don't like, outside of the context of this film. Like, what does a very stuttery or jittery frame rate accomplish?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't.
It doesn't accomplish a whole lot.
What is the filmic benefit of doing that? Like,
Yeah,
exactly.
we'd have to ask Edward Zwick
professor.
at the end of the day. Like, I have no idea what he was thinking. I honestly do not know. I can't even
He's
answer it. Like,
Trying something new. You got to give him credit for trying something, but it didn't
he's
work,
always trying
so-
something. That's like his gimmick, is that he's trying something new. Apparently,
yeah, he's trying to make
Trying to
samurais
go.
white. He's trying to make
he's like
blood
shrugging
diamond
everything off.
miners
trying to
saved
do.
by white people. He's trying to
Shout out Tom Cruise.
what? Shout out.
So after
Jim
that,
Hansu.
we get more of. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, he's just bullshitting. Go ahead, Trevor.
Oh, we're running out of time. I'm just trying to keep us late.
Oh fuck.
So after that, we get what's his name? Arcadi. Yeah, the asshole. Being an asshole in the camp some more with Tuvka. Jesus, I'm just butchering
Tovia?
names, son. Tuvia. Oh my god.
Tufka.
Tuvia basically dying, and then last straw, Tuvia comes out and is like, "What is happening?"
Fucking
and
shoots that bitch in the head.
Akadi's like, "I'm the boss now," and he just shoots him. I love that.
To be fair, that guy was a real son of a bitch and a bastard. Like, he was abusing
for
power.
sure.
He thought that he was in command now. Bitch, you're not in command. This is the Bilski Altriad, homie.
Yeah,
you think you're in
come on.
control now, dude? Fucking
No
yeet
way.
on those homies.
beaten
To
on
give you context,
Azil.
Will was dabbing when I was saying that.
But like, I was just so glad that he did shoot him. I was afraid they were gonna have this whole like power struggle thing or whatever, and it's not the best way to maintain your authority, but it works.
I think it's
I think it was perfect for
Pretty
the time they were in.
effective.
It was winter. It's like, what are you gonna do against it? It's fucking winter. Everybody's dying right now.
Yeah.
You're gonna fucking go and kill the only person that has any sort of organization?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. No, I love it because I just really think that Arcadi was like, no way he's gonna shoot me.
yeah.
Like he's gonna
Indiana Jones
like,
style.
No way. Like he's not gonna do it. He doesn't have the guts to do it, and then just get shot. And it's like, yeah, great, cool.
And then he tells his boys to take him out into the woods and leave him for the wolves.
Yeah.
So good.
Can we sidebar real quick? Did we talk about Zeus and Tuvia's fist fight? Like, I know we mentioned
Briefly.
it in
I believe we
passing,
did briefly, yeah.
but that's a really good scene. And I know I'm jumping like way back now, but I thought that was great.
It is a good scene, yeah.
It was a very good scene. It was them coming to blows with who has authority and what they should be doing.
Yeah, it was like the
It's a brutal
the
fist
power
fight.
struggle just coming to physicality, essentially, right?
Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
I'm
And
jumping
Zeus
like an hour back in
just-
the movie, but I
No, you're
forgot
good.
You're good, dude.
The conflict.
It is an
the
important
head-to-head
scene because
conflict.
that's what splits him.
Yeah,
That's what splits him into the Red Army.
Yeah. Cool. So, Tuvia murders Arcadia in cold blood. The camp is kind of shocked, it seems like, but also like they know it was kind of the right thing to do because this dude's feeding.
Yeah, I think they're fine with
six
it.
out of like 100 people get prime food, and everybody else gets scraps, which is just no way to run a camp at that time.
No, it's
No.
ridiculous.
It's insane.
Like
That is also why I was a little bit surprised. I mean, I know he killed the guy, but I was a little bit surprised why everybody in the line was looking at Tuvia so crazy. Like, he has just saved you guys from starving to death.
also, why are
from this
they
one
just
psycho.
letting this happen? Is what I want to know. Like, there's
don't-
so many of them.
Well, most of the people that are with them, you gotta keep in your mind that they're nonpartisans. They're not people who are fighters. They're not.
Yeah.
They're normal people.
Yeah.
They don't want to kill and attack people. They're just normal people.
That's one thing I don't know. I just feel like if you're gonna be in a situation where you have to survive against this force that wants nothing more than for you and everyone you know and love to die, why isn't everyone fighting? Like,
not everybody is a person is that type of person though.
I get elderly not, and I get the children not. I get that, but like everybody else. Everyone that's able-bodied.
It's the exact same reason why everybody doesn't sign up for the army. Like,
that's
not
different.
Everyone is a fighter.
No, but that's what I'm getting at. It's not. We kind of have that. I don't want to say privilege, but like we live like we're in a more or less a stable society where we have people that go do that and we have people that do this. In a situation like that, I feel like everyone should be ready to fight because you're literally trying to survive every single day.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you to the extent that they're also in a society, though. They're creating their own society where people have roles, and the other people have roles of being the fighters, and then they have roles of being the cooks, the people who hunt, the people who
everyone
teach.
Should be able to, because when push comes to shove and the Nazis roll up at your door.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I also don't think they had that many weapons. I don't think they had weapons to arm every single person.
And that's fair. But you get what I'm getting at. Like, we have these 6 guys off to the side that are hogging all the food, and like hundreds of people
I feel you.
Watching this happen. Like, what?
I feel you. I'm just saying what I think that the side of it is, the human side.
No, and I understand, but that's just my thought in that moment. It's like all these people are literally standing in line with an empty bowl, watching these guys eat. Like,
yeah,
charge them, just rush them.
What did you think of it, Will?
I think it kind of just like goes to show that even in a makeshift society like that, there's still going to be I don't know how to say designated
assholes?
Roles. No, but like there are people who are the fighters and there are people who are subservient to whoever is in power. And if you think about it, like if somebody stands up to Arcady, who's to say that one person has anybody standing behind them? And now it's, for instance, a woman. Let's say it's Jimmy Bell's wife versus Arcady, and then like she can easily be overpowered, right? So it's probably just fear.
Yeah,
it's a tough one, man.
I agree.
I get it. Like I obviously like the numbers are in their favor, but it's still 100 women and children and older men versus 10. Quote unquote fighters who have guns.
Yeah, able-bodied men with weapons.
Right.
And they know how to use them.
Are you willing to
risk? They know how to use them.
But also,
well.
those few able-bodied men were overpowered by one guy.
Well,
I don't think they were overpowered by him. I think that them taking out the leader was symbolic, and that they fell in line.
Yeah.
I don't think it was an overpowering thing at all.
Regardless, it was a great scene anyways. I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved that he just took him out. Like, that was fantastic. But,
so then,
I guess then we move on to...
Tovia's fever breaks.
His lady basically stays with him through his fever and makes sure that he's able to come back.
And they finally get together for real. Like, they've been like kind of flirting this whole time.
Yeah, their relationship does take a little bit to fully blossom into a true relationship, because they do stand off with it a little bit.
Like, that was crazy. And like, he asks her, like, what do you think about, like, what did you study in college? And she was like, music. And I thought that was kind of a nice little moment. Like, oh, that doesn't pertain at all to where we're at right now, but he still wants to know about it.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I don't know. I thought it was a nice moment.
We also find out after this, so one of the rules in the camp is that there can be no pregnancies. They can't...
Which makes sense.
Yeah, they can't basically take care of an infant. It doesn't make any sense for the camp to do that. But we find out that a lady, this is when spring breaks finally, so all the snow is melted and everybody's able to be normal a little bit, at least.
Yeah, everyone's getting happy, like the snow's melted, they take a group photo, everything's great.
Yeah, the group photo is great, and apparently
photo.
It is after a real photo that was taken. The real photo is online.
That's tight.
It's similar. So we find out that a lady was raped by a German guard before they were escaped, or as they were escaping her. It was at some point during them leaving the ghetto when they were rescuing those people, and she doesn't know what to do. She's very pregnant, but she's been hiding it most of the time. And she's talking to Lilka about it, right? Tuvia's girl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which I find kind of crazy that, like, you know, she wants to keep it hidden. Like, she's
because
you can't tell him.
She thinks that Tuvia is going to go off the rails or something.
True, which she probably would.
Yeah, but that's why she went to the right person. You know, you go to Tuvia's girl.
My first thought was that she went to the wrong person, because I'm like, why would you go to the literal leader's, like, girl why wouldn't she tell him? But then I guess, yeah, she did the right thing because she talked it. No, I agree that it made sense after.
Yeah.
After the fact, it makes sense.
Yes.
At the moment, I was like, that makes no sense.
Yeah, so the baby is born, and then Lilka talks to Tuvia about it, basically like convincing him to allow this to happen because there was no going around it, and this is the only like semblance of society they can keep to themselves and say is theirs. You know,
it's a symbol of hope.
Yeah, exactly. It's a symbol of hope. It's something that they can say is normal amongst all this craziness.
To be fair, my first thought was, like, I think they should keep it, but also, if he's really that concerned, maybe take a vote.
No.
Take
a
a
vote to
vote.
kill the baby?
Not
vote
to kill the baby.
Born baby?
It would not be to kill the baby. I am
what
not
would you
saying
do with
that.
it then?
You'd have to shun
send
them.
it off down
I
the
guess.
river. Like,
You'd
Jesus,
shun
like,
them,
Jesus.
so AKA you'd kill the mother and the baby.
Okay, you know what? I take back my statement.
How do you shun a newborn baby, Trevor?
Yeah, get out of here. Get out of here.
on,
Scram, baby.
Go on.
The baby runs off.
Anyways.
You leave it off Game of Thrones style and the White Walkers take it away?
Fuck.
I don't know, give it, like, put it on, like, a German fire department staff.
George R.R. Martin, where the fuck is the next book, dog? We cannot live with this
Everybody's been
last season
asking.
being
Hey,
banned.
apparently quarantine has been good for for him to get down to writing.
Have you
apparently.
seen proof of
Is that
that?
a rumor?
Have you seen proof of that, Trevor?
Yeah, I haven't seen
apparently
dick, I
he
haven't seen
tweeted
dick
it or
shit
something.
proof of that.
I need fucking proof because I cannot let that
Look it
up.
last season be the end. It can't happen.
But also, back to the movie. So we find out that the Nazi patrols are getting closer because they bring this dude back to camp, who has a journal on him of some sort of notes of the Nazi movements. Tuvia is looking over this as the rest of the camp absolutely beats the shit out of this guy.
Yeah,
which I'm
They
glad.
beat a Nazi. Yeah, I think that was nice and cathartic for the camp.
It was very cathartic. If this was RimWorld, they'd have the plus 20 cathartic bonus on them.
Shout out,
like, straight
Rimworld,
up,
dude.
they were.
Yeah, I've been playing
Like,
RimWorld recently.
I feel like a lot of people were looking at Tuvia like, "Are you gonna stop them
No,
from?"
why would he
like,
stop it? Fuck it,
Well, I
dude.
think-
Fuck this
I know.
guy.
I don't think they should
I
stop
think
it.
this scene.
The guy's like, don't kill me, I'm only a Nazi. And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Get out of here, die, homie.
This scene is a good example of the intellectual being the voice of reason in the camp because like when Trev says people keep looking at Tovia, it's only the intellectual who keeps looking at Tovia to be like, are you gonna stop this, or are you just gonna let them murder this man in cold blood? And like a few times he doesn't get his attention, but then like at a certain point, like Tovia notices and he just lets it happen because he's been there, you know.
He lets
Yeah,
it
because
happen.
of course.
They overpower that Nazi soldier.
Like, they
But
could
what are you
have
gonna do?
overpowered.
What would they
the other
even
guy.
have done with him if they said, "No, stop this beating"?
Just keep him.
I
as
mean,
a
they would
prisoner.
have to
They would have
kill
shot
There's
him.
no point.
They would have to kill him anyway.
Yeah.
At
Oh, they
least-
absolutely would have killed him.
At least let
But-
these people get their
Get their licks in.
their blood in, I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
as it's happening, you can clearly see how distraught the people are of thinking about their loved ones that have died and been killed in cold blood like this guy from the Nazis in the first place. I mean, it's like it is a point to where like are they trying to stoop to that person's level? But it's like it's such a fucked up scenario. It's like impossible to tell how anyone would react to that, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. I mean, I don't blame them 100%. I agree. Like, go for it.
Yeah.
Get your like you hate to be like, because then you have to go, well, like, what if he's not super into the whole thing? But at that point, like, no, you can't even try and make that kind of argument.
He's not.
I mean, I think
he's wearing the uniform.
I think it's safe to say on this podcast,
he's wearing.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say he's a fucking Nazi.
And also on this podcast,
yeah, exactly. Like at the end of the day, he's a Nazi, so murder him.
I think that you also see it the best through the point of view of Zeus's lady that he ends up leaving but coming back to. What was her name? I don't think I have her name down. Did you guys have her name?
No.
The lady with the
Which
short
lady?
hair?
Zeus's
girl.
Oh no, I never. Zeus's girl. That's pretty much all I had written down.
You see it through her beating up the Nazi. I think the most, where she's really breaking down, talking, like screaming the
her
names
whole
of,
family is dead.
Yeah, her dead family that she had to leave behind. I think it's very sad. It's a very sad scene.
Yeah, for sure.
It's very sad, but it was good. It was sad and good.
Yeah, it was well. I mean, I think it was well done. I think there's a lot of different dynamics to that scene that are well done. Like the points that Will was talking about with the intellectual and like thinking about stuff, and then also the really disturbing parts of it. But
yeah.
So the note. Oh, sorry. The note that Tovia read was like, "Oh, they're going to surround the forest and come in like 3 days." That moment right there should have been, "Let's go, let's go." And it seems like they wait like 2 days.
They did wait too long. We can see them waiting too long. I think it's because Passover was coming, so they kind of didn't want to because of Passover. But they end up having to leave. They end up having to leave the day before Passover. So
yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah, they wait on it, and then something else happens that gets them to start moving.
Well, it's just Tovia. It's Tovia talking to, I think, the intellectual, and they're listening to the teacher teaching students. Yeah, it's teaching their new society of students about Judaism and like the stories about Passover and everything. And basically, Tovia is like, we have to leave. Like, we can't wait any longer. And it's
they saw the plane
right before. Yeah, the plane shows up.
They saw the first plane, and we're like, "Do you think
he says to leave before that though, doesn't he? I'm almost
no.
positive.
I think he says to leave after they see the first plane, and he looks at the intellectual and is like, "Do you think they saw us?" And he's like, "I don't know." He's like, "We got to go." And then that's when more planes show up and start they start packing,
bombing.
and then like 5 planes come in and start dropping bombs on them, and it's crazy.
Yeah, they bomb the village as like the orders are basically to leave with only weapons and ammo. We need to get out of here.
And they definitely grab some food, I think, but
I believe they do probably, but they also try to hide at first from the bombs. They try to go into shelters. We see one of the shelters at the very least be absolutely bombed out and exploded from a shell.
Like a bullseye hit right through the roof, just boom.
And that's like pretty much when Tovia gets shell shocked, right? Right at that point is when you start to see.
Yeah, he gets shell shocked. I'm pretty sure a bomb hits, he falls, and he also hits his head on a tree, right?
Yeah.
I think is
my only gripe with this scene is that everyone does it. Everyone does the shell shock thing.
What do you mean?
Like, I feel like every time there's like a movie where bombs or grenades or something, it's like the hero gets like one too close to him, and then he's like, he can't hear, and like we hear muffled people going, screaming and like either getting blown up or shot, and it's just, I feel like everyone does it.
Like, but wouldn't that be what happens if a bomb hits you too close? You wouldn't be able to hear anything because it was
for
so
sure.
loud.
But I'm not gonna take away my statement of everyone.
You'd rather him be like, I can hear perfectly and I'm good to go, action movie style.
Like, I'd be fine with him just getting disoriented. Like, it's chaos around him. Like, yeah,
that is what happens.
Of course you get disoriented, but it doesn't have to be the ear whining, slow mo running.
Yes.
Bombs, like, you know what I mean?
I
just feel I feel like it's done so often. And I thought it was definitely appropriate, but like that's my only gripe is that everyone does it, man. Everyone does it.
Yeah. I mean, what
Okay,
can
that's,
you do? Maybe,
that's
maybe
my
they
rant.
Maybe they should have made up a new thing. Maybe they should have made it so everything's louder and everything moves in fast motion.
Or they show
Maybe that would've been good.
half frames.
That could have. I don't want the half frame, like the slideshow thing to happen again. But I don't know, just like, yeah, because they say like whenever something like that's over, either it was all going in fast motion, or next thing you remember, it's over and you're out of there.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. I thought
I don't know. It was not a bad scene. That's my main gripe is that everyone does it.
I have no gripe. I think that's a bad bring up. Thoughts?
Like I mentioned up top.
Why is it when I decide to be grumpy, I get shit on, but when Will decides to be grumpy, it's fine?
I mean,
I don't think that's fine at
you
all.
guys might
I think I
shit
was
on
mad
me.
at him.
might not shit on me, but I feel like the comment section, big anti-Will guys. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think they are.
I do think that, as I mentioned up top, this.
Will, you're great.
Thanks. I needed that. I think this movie hits a lot of the usual war film tropes, and this absolutely is one of those things. I do agree that it's, overdone probably, but I also kind of agree with Cobb. Like, how else do you accurately depict someone going through that in film? It's tough. Maybe we should do like a top 5 when we start up our Patreon and we start doing like not movie episodes. We start doing like list episodes. Maybe we'll do like top 5 war is hell scenes from media.
That'd be good.
You could definitely throw some Band of Brothers scenes in there. Obviously, Saving Private Ryan's
for
opening
sure.
scene.
I need to rewatch Band of Brothers and The Pacific.
Band of Brothers is GOAT. Absolute fucking GOAT.
Pacific's good too.
I never finished The Pacific. That was when I was in college and I was like kind of past my World War II phase. We also I didn't mention before, but when Trev said that Cobb was like a big World War II guy, I was also a huge World War II guy. Like from probably like late elementary school to early high school, the only thing I consumed was World War II media, whether it be books or movies or TV.
That's interesting. I don't see you as a World War II guy at all.
Bro, I fucking loved it. I took Schindler's List, the book, out of my middle school library as a 6th grader.
Wow.
That's where I was at.
Damn.
Yeah. Did I read it? Probably not. But I checked it out and I tried to.
You got it,
I
though.
definitely tried to. But yeah, I read a lot of good World War II young adult fiction. Anyway, War is Hell.
Anyway, so-
War is Hell is tough to portray. I mean, it's a thing that's tried and true.
True.
And I think that's just the nature of war film.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna get shell shocked at some point. Bombs are fucked.
No joke.
Yeah, I'm gonna say they did a good job.
That's fine. That's fine. It's my opinion.
He did say 9 out of 10.
I'm
Anyways.
sorry, Trevor. I just love this movie so much. I
I'm
can't
not, dude.
be
It's
mad.
fine.
I'm gonna be this way anytime someone disagrees with me about my stuff. I'm just gonna be mad. I'm gonna be fuck you.
So the younger brother, though, coming up here he really comes into his own in this
He's
whole.
the goat. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like taking charge.
He's
He
taking
stays
charge of the
behind.
infantry because the infantry Nazi soldiers show up.
Yes, he stays behind to like lead the fighters and to hold off the Nazi troops. His girl has to get sent away with Daniel Craig.
Yeah, because Daniel is supposed to, or what's his name? Tovia is supposed to like lead the rest of the people out of the forest as far away as they can.
Yes,
but he's still all fucked up.
yeah. So
I know you hated this, but he was shell shocked, Trevor.
He was still shell shocked. No, after the ringing stopped, it was fine. I thought it was good that he wasn't able to make decisions as fast. Like that makes sense.
Yeah. I feel you.
But yeah, so they get to the edge of a swamp, essentially.
Yeah, there's a swamp. I never think about swamps being in Europe. I always just
Apparently
picture
they
them
are.
in the eastern U.S. That's all I ever picture swamps at.
They get to the swamp. That scene was kind of wonky. Not great. CGI.
Yeah, that was just a long,
CGI was kind of
sad.
iffy. Also, Why couldn't somebody
Where
behind
was
it,
CGI in?
them walking into the swamp was CGI? That wasn't real.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I didn't even notice.
Why couldn't somebody behind the teacher pick up his bag of books? That was fucked up. I would get it if
I mean,
Fuck his
in
books,
the end,
I would get it
in
if
the end,
he was
it doesn't
the last
matter.
person in line. But like,
Yeah, he passed away. Rip.
well, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Listen,
I mean,
It's
not really, because
We're
that's the
talking
next
about the
scene.
scene.
Right after they leave the books
That
behind,
was
they,
a bummer.
they
when
get
they
to
finally
dry
find land. They are like taking a rest. The old teacher guy dies. He has this great little moment with the intellectual.
dude, that moment was disgusting.
And then Nazis show
Wait
up.
a minute. That moment was absolutely disgusting. The number of times that he hawked up blood loogies while he talked
Oh, it was
was
great.
like the absolute worst ASMR of all time. Those sounded so nasty.
To be fair, though, that's overdone in war movies when people bleed.
Yeah, again.
Right,
They
Trevor?
always
I think
coughing
we
it
could
up.
say that, yeah.
Right, Trevor?
I'll agree that they seem to cough up blood a lot. It's like
It's overdone.
I just
Find a
You
new
get
way to
shot in
bleed.
the-
Find a new way to bleed, you bastard.
you get shot in the arm or the leg. Like, dude, you're not gonna start
You
coughing.
should
up
only
blood.
be bleeding out of the ass. Fuck you,
Internal
Trevor.
bleeding does not mean it's in your lungs. Anyways,
But a tank shows up.
Yeah, I laughed.
And,
with
a
a bunch
laughed
of
out
foot
loud.
troops.
I laughed
and-
out loud when the tank showed up.
was
I was
fucked.
like, "Oh fucking course, there's a goddamn tank."
So I really thought whenever Tuvia and the intellectual run off to the side, and he's got the bag of grenades, I'm like, all right,
Start
gonna-
tossing them.
he's gonna pull the pin on one or like two and chuck that whole bag, and it's gonna like detonate and like destroy the tank,
Yeah, no,
or at least
no.
take out the treads or something.
No.
No,
Taking
the
one
intellectual
grenade.
grabs one, runs in with it above his head, like ah,
Yeah, that was
and just
dumb
gets shot
at
and
best.
dies.
That's the only part of the movie I don't like. I
Terrible,
think.
terrible.
You just gotta whip it. Like, dude, come on. You cannot. You've been living in the woods for like months. You have to have some sort
Not
of
a
muscles
fighter.
to be able to whip that thing.
He's an intellectual.
Just whip that
dude.
grenade.
He doesn't even know how to nail a nail.
But Tuvia does take out a bunch of Nazis with the
does.
MG. You said it was a different type of MG.
34.
What was it? MG what?
MG34, yes.
Yeah, the MG34.
Once again,
And he takes
As
out
well
a
as
shot.
a push, I
IMFDB,
think.
our sponsor for today's
But then
episode.
we see his brother showed up. Zeus shows up with the other dudes that had left originally from the Autriad, and they fuck up the tank. Zeus fucking goes beast mode and tosses a grenade into it.
Yeah,
Yeah, he like pistol shoots the guy up top.
Yeah,
with
that
his
was
machine
dope.
gun.
That's
That shit
another-
was so
another
satisfying.
war movie trope: throwing the grenade into the tank hole.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but that's
Have you
effective.
guys seen Fury?
Oh, so now we're just okay with the tropes? Where's this coming from? Fuck you, Trevor.
Tropes to me,
You're like, that
Are-
trope was fine because there was a gun involved.
tropes are fine depending on how cool they are done.
Fuck
And
All right, so
that was really
Have
cool.
you guys seen Fury?
The,
Yeah, so that's the
original
movie.
Shell Shock was not that cool.
That's the
So
movie.
therefore, yeah, that's pretty much the movie. Tuvia and Zeus make up,
Yeah,
and then we get our
boys again.
epilogue
And
with
they live in the
All
woods
the
for
real
2
life
more years.
info.
yeah, 2 more years. Zeus moves to America and starts a trucker company.
Tuvia
Tuvia
follows.
follows not long after with his wife. What's her name? I forget her name.
Lilka.
Doesn't
Lilka. They
matter.
stay married the rest of their lives. And Oziel,
dies.
or not Oziel. What's
Yeah,
his
he
name?
dies. Yeah, he dies.
Yeah, Oziel.
Jamie
Okay,
Bell
yeah, Oziel dies in the Red
Goes
Army.
on to star in Jumper and then dies in the Red Army.
And then dies in the... and that's
And
it.
George
yeah.
McKay goes on to star in 1917.
Which is
so.
a much better war film. If you've made it this far, you should definitely.
And Daniel Craig becomes James
You
Bond.
should watch
Defiance
1917.
is fantastic.
and
Defiance
you
is an
should watch
easy 10-10
Skyfall.
for me. I can say that easily. Defiance, easy 10-10.
You said 9-10.
Oh, is
at
it
the
10-10
beginning.
now?
Oh, sorry. It's 1917, easy 10-10.
Oh.
Defiance,
I was like,
9-10.
whoa.
I was
Sorry.
going to say, damn,
Plot
dude, did us
twist.
talking about it really bring it that
Plot
up?
twist.
No, 1917, easy 10-10.
Yeah, it's a 9.5 out of 10.
All
for
right,
me.
so that's the movie.
We did it.
That is the movie. Yeah, thanks for watching it, guys. Will, I'm sorry you hated it. Trevor, I'm sorry you hated the tropes.
I didn't hate the tropes. I hated the one trope,
Please-
and I didn't even hate
please-
it. I just wanted to state that it was overused.
Please come back next week.
I give this an 8.5.
Please-
Dude, I can't even imagine if I brought a movie that like we disagreed about as much as we did for Stripes. Like if I brought that on, I would be so fucking livid. I would just be screaming at you guys.
Well,
And I was just like, okay.
Well,
I was like, that's
at
fair.
that point,
I'm a very
to that end, please tune in next week where I bring in a childhood favorite, awful Disney film, and hopefully these guys hate it, because if they don't, it would defeat the purpose of me saying this entirely. But
We both love it. We're like, that was classic. What do you
That
mean?
was so
I'm
good.
gonna rate it super high,
just to make you feel
and
bad.
hopefully we can do a role reversal where I'm not that fucking guy the entire episode. But
Well, we'll
But,
we'll see. I guess.
Yeah,
won't we?
we'll see. I appreciate you guys watching it though.
Yeah, of course.
I'm glad you got at least a little bit something out of it.
Happy to finally
it's
see
a
it.
Different movie for you guys to watch.
For sure.
To complete your Daniel Craig discography. I know you guys have been trying to finish it up.
it's a filmography.
Not even.
Whatever. But yeah, so that's been the podcast, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace out.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.